Welcome to Explorer Classroom. My name is Gibbs Kuguru. I am a shark scientist, a National Geographic explorer, and I will be your host for today. At National Geographic, we believe that anyone can be an explorer and that you have the power to make a difference in the world no matter how old you are. Explorer Classroom is here to inspire us with stories from the field and connect you with our National Geographic explorers live to answer your questions. Before we meet today's explorer, I'd like to welcome all the following classes who are joining us today with a special shout out to Fairborn Intermediate School in Ohio, Seneca Middle School in South Carolina, Irwin Elementary School in California, Idea Public Schools in Texas, Ridgewood Avenue School in New Jersey, Stonehill International School in India, Colegio Los Angeles del Norte in Colombia, Dorothy Linus Elementary in Canada, Ramiro Colbe in Mexico, and Red and Blue English in Argentina. We are so glad you're here. Friends, did you know that Tuesday, April 22nd, is Earth Day? This is a day dedicated to raising awareness and inspiring action to protect the planet and its natural resources. Here at National Geographic, we have been celebrating Earth all month long. And today we'll be talking about something we create every single day that impacts our planet, trash. Have you ever wondered, where do things go when we throw them away? Or maybe you've wondered, what can I do to help keep the planet clean? Well, today's explorer is going to teach us. Sharona Shnayder is a National Geographic young explorer and founder of Tuesdays for Trash, a global movement dedicated to cleaning up the planet. She's also the author and a Darwin 200 leader working to connect nature conservation and community engagement. Sharona started Tuesdays for Trash in 2020 when she was living in Portland, Oregon in the USA. The movement now spans 6 continents with participants in over 60 countries. There are 15 Tuesday for Trash chapters across the globe, represented by the blue dots on the map, with locations in the United States, Canada, Rwanda, Jordan, and Sharona's current home base of Tel Aviv, Israel, just to name a few. Now, picking up trash is a simple and safe and effective action that anyone can do anywhere in the world. Sharona launched the Tuesdays for Trash movement with the hopes of encouraging individuals everywhere to dedicate time each week for our planet. We are so excited to have Sharona here live with us to share about her incredible work and answer your questions. Sharona, welcome to Explorer Classroom.
Thank you so much, Gibbs. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm really excited to share my story and hopefully inspire you guys to not only pick up trash, but also to start your own initiatives.
Yeah, and thank you for joining us as we celebrate Earth Month. So please tell us more about Tuesdays for Trash and what inspired you to start this movement.
Yeah, so Tuesdays for Trash began with me and a friend first at our university during COVID. Initially, we were just looking for a simple and easy way to get outside and do something positive. And what we found was that by picking up one bag of trash, it was so much fun. People around us thanked us. We made a really big impact. And so we thought to invite our friends around the world to join. And before we knew it, in 1 week, we had people in 6 continents picking up trash every week, cleaning up their communities. And so it's really a testament to how small acts of change, when multiplied, can help transform our world.
Wow, that is awesome. And how much trash did you manage to pick up?
So to this day, which means the movement has been going on for around 5 years now, we've reached a milestone of 100,000 pounds of trash cleaned up. And it was definitely not something that happened overnight, but it was the power of people around the world dedicating their time and just showing that even though there is this problem all around the world, we can also create a solution together. So we put together a little video to kind of show the movement and the evolution and how we reached that milestone.
Tuesdays for trash.
So
Wow,
that's kind of a
Sharona,
little taste of, yeah, what we've been doing so far, but it's definitely been a roller coaster to get to this moment.
that is so cool. I love that you just told us all about Tuesdays for Trash and congratulations on 100,000 pounds of trash removed from our environment. That is massive.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
students, I want to go back to that question. I asked you at the very beginning of the show, have you ever wondered where your trash goes after you throw it away? For example, do you all think it ends up in a landfill? Is it all recycled? Could some of it end up in our local waterways or even in the ocean or outer space? I'd love to know what you think. Teachers, get close to your keyboard so you can answer for your class. Again, the question is, where do you think your trash goes after you throw it away? I'm going to pause and be quiet to give you some time to think and answer. Let's start the countdown. All right, the chat is littered with answers. No pun intended. So, from Mrs. Alexander's class, they said that the trash ends up in oceans or in landfills. This is also echoed in Wycliffe Wolves that says landfills in multiple places, also the ocean, also in our own streets where we live. Um, Megalodons said the same things, except they also added space, which is quite a fascinating one. I'm not sure how the trash gets up there, but maybe we find out one day. Mrs. Lee's environmental STEM class also said the ocean. I mean, I'm seeing the ocean a lot in these answers in ecosystems, landfills, recycling center is probably where the trash should go, especially compost, beaches, that's super close to the ocean, that probably washes right in there, and then burning. I'm seeing a lot of really good answers, and I love that you guys put some thought into this. Thank you for sharing them. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Sharona. Where does our trash go when we throw it away?
Thank you, Gibbs. So it's an interesting question because it doesn't just magically disappear. I think sometimes when we throw things away, we don't really take a second to understand where that actually goes because, like you guys were saying, it ends up whether it's in landfills or it gets burned and creates toxins in our air. Sometimes it's mismanaged and it ends up in our waterways, and that affects our fish and our wildlife. And so it's not something that we want to continue to happen because the way is starting to fill up as we're seeing trash flow into our streets. And it's something that if we don't contain, it's going to become an even bigger and harder problem to solve. So that's why we started Tuesdays for Trash, because we understand that away isn't a magic place, it's a real place that we have to start thinking about how we're going to manage. And Tuesdays for Trash creates a simple, easy, and effective way that anyone, anywhere in the world can get involved with taking action and doing their part and trying to help us solve this garbage crisis. So the pictures you're seeing right now are examples of cleanups we've done with all different kinds of groups all over the world. And I think that's the beauty of it because it brings people together in a way that creates this bond. It helps you reconnect with your environment and to see that our backyard isn't just outside our door, but it's everywhere we go on the planet. So it's our jobs and our responsibility to take care of it.
Here, here, and I'm in full agreement. Thank you so much, Sharona, for sharing the work that you do busting trash on our streets and in our environment, and the cleanups that you've done with different groups. Your actions are actually making a direct impact on our planet. Now, students, we have a classroom challenge for you. Look around your environment or your classroom, or if you're at home or school, you can look around wherever you are. Can you spot one thing that you could reuse instead of throwing away? For example, whenever I have my old yogurt containers, I try to make a habit to reuse them for leftovers or for snacks. Now, teachers, get close to your keyboard so that you can answer for your class. Again, the question is, can you spot one thing in your room or in your area that you could reuse instead of throwing it away? Tell your teachers the answer, and teachers, go ahead and type your student answers into the chat. If the item is near you, you can also hold it up for us to see. I'm going to pause for a minute and give you some time to look at the item and answer. You will see the countdown when you have 30 seconds left. Let's go. All right. I'm stoked to see some of these answers. From Mrs. B's, or sorry, Miss B's amazing fourth graders. They said they use their reuse their water bottles and Pringle containers. I mean, those are not single-use devices that only need to be used once for food and snacks. You can definitely use them again. 20 Wells Tigers has paper and plastic. Um, WMS Wildcats also said water bottles and cardboard boxes. I mean, there's plenty of things you could do with all of this stuff. Just be creative. Um, I see from Wycliffe Wolves paper, bottles, dried out markers, plastic, socks, boxes. I mean, these are all really good examples, and it is only limited by your creativity. So you can literally reuse anything that you want. Blue Jay says that things that they want to reuse are bags, popsicle sticks, chart paper. These are awesome, awesome answers. Guys, I could honestly read all of this thing and be so inspired by you, but we have to move on. And I would like to hear from Sharona. Um, can you tell us about some of these items that these kids are reusing? I mean, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I think that it shows that pretty much anything around you can be reused. There's so many different ideas that you can come up with. And the point really is to get you into this mindset of thinking about how can we prevent waste from ending up as garbage and trash that we're seeing in our environment. So instead of trying to take care of the problem just by picking up, we can also stop the problem from happening in the first place. So I want to encourage you all, now that you've seen little things in your community and maybe been inspired by other people's answers, to try and reuse and reduce as much as possible your waste and your garbage so that we don't have to pick up as much trash when we're doing Tuesdays for Trash.
Right on. And thank you, students, for participating in that challenge. Sharona, I love that we all have the power to take action in our local communities, especially to contribute to a cleaner earth. I'm wondering, why is it important to talk about these positive actions that we're taking?
Yeah, so a lot of the times we do good things and we don't really tell people about it, but I think it's really important to talk and have conversations about things we're doing, especially for the environment, because you'd be so surprised how quickly it can inspire people and it can spread a message that creates more positive change around the world. For example, think if I just kept picking up trash with my friend and told nobody about it, we wouldn't have this impact with people in over 60 countries and 100,000 pounds of trash cleaned up. So it's important to talk about the things that you're doing, especially when it's something positive and something that helps our community. And I want to inspire you guys a little bit more by showing you something exciting, which is our new book that we just launched called Journey to Away, all about what we've been talking about today, where does our trash go? How does it impact our communities? It's a fun adventure book about a raccoon and her family and how she goes on this big journey to discover where humans throw trash away. So if you're interested, we're going to send a link in the chat where you can find out more, where you can purchase the book and also find curriculum that you can use in your classrooms.
Wow, that's so cool, Sharona. Congratulations on that book. I can't wait to
Thank you
read
so
it
much.
and follow that raccoon on its mission to change the world. Students, we've learned that taking small, actionable steps in our own communities can make a big impact, especially if we share our story and encourage others to do the same. We have one more question for you. So, teachers, get close to your keyboard so that you can answer for your class. Our question is, what is one small thing you could do today that would leave a positive impact on your community to make the world a cleaner and healthier place? And how would you tell that story? Notice that there are two parts to that question. What would you do, and how would you tell the story to inspire others? For example, I could pick up the trash around the canals where I live, so that the local swans don't accidentally eat it, which, they sometimes will, confusing it for food. And then I could also put bulletins around my local social houses that I know people frequent, so they know to do the same. All right, now I'm going to pause and be quiet to give you some time to think and answer. Let's start the countdown. Alrighty, the answers have come in, and I'd like to start with Mrs. B's amazing fourth graders. They said start carpooling, and then tell other people what's happening on Earth. Carpooling is a really great way to preserve our limited resources of fuel that we have for the planet and also reduce the pollution that our cars create. That's a really good answer. 20 Wells Tiger says clean up the litter and trash. I'm there with you guys 100%. Fulton School Upper Elementary says put out flyers not to litter and pick up the litter around the school. That's a great one. You got to spread the word. Got to spread the word. Now, we have WMS Wildcat says we have a small local beehive here at our school, and we promote the knowledge of how important bees are to nature. That is awesome. That is an actionable step and sharing outreach with your community. Loving it. Okay, guys, I can read these all day, seriously. We got to move on, sadly. Okay, I'm super impressed by these answers, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And I hope you do these things and spread the word. We would love to hear it. Now, Sharona, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think that as you guys are all sharing, you're showing just how much it can inspire everybody to get involved and to find different ways to bring in their own communities into it. The more you talk about it, the more that you find that other people are passionate about the same things or they have ideas to add. Maybe they want to collaborate with you. So I really encourage you guys beyond this classroom to actually go out into your community to start talking about the problems that you see and to take even little tiny baby steps because who would have thought that me picking up trash would help me become a National Geographic explorer to reach the milestones we have with the movement? I'm currently in South Africa doing research on Darwin's original ship that he took his voyage on 200 years ago. So I think it's a testament that these small actions really do have a big impact and they can scale into worldwide and global change. So don't think that you have to be a world leader or a politician to make big changes. You can be a person on earth who cares about having a future and wanting to keep our home clean.
Thank you, Sharona. I mean, I gotta say, like, no one can say anything else than that you are inspired because the way you love the earth and the planet, I mean, it comes through in your work and it's taken you so far. So thank you so much for that.
The
Um,
pleasure is mine.
we
Thank
had,
you.
yeah, we had so much fun thinking about how we can make the world a cleaner place. Now it's time for the Q&A. And if you're watching on YouTube, send us your questions for Sharona using the chat bar. We record all of them as they're sent in, so please only send each question in once. And teachers, please let us know who's asking the question so we can give your class or student a shout out. If you're watching on Zoom, use the hand raise function at the bottom of your screen to let me know that your class has a question. We'll call on as many classes as time allows, so if we call on you, remember to use a nice loud voice to ask your question. If you have any issues with your microphone, go ahead and type your question into the chat bar. Right. Now we are going to move into the Q&A, and we will start with a question from YouTube coming from Bodhi. And the question is, what inspired you to start your work?
So I think for me, my activism began when I saw Greta Thunberg, speaking at the UN in 2017. It was the first time that I saw someone around my age speaking really passionately about something that she believed in and something that affected my future. And so didn't want to look back and regret not doing something. And I felt like maybe if she can do it, I could do it as well. So for me, it was really having a role model to look up to and someone that could inspire me to go outside and take action. And even if it was something small, like before I started picking up trash, I started using reusable utensils. And the more I used them, the more my friends asked me about them, the more I wanted to know and learn. And I got so involved that I ended up creating Tuesdays for Trash during the pandemic.
I dig that. I mean, who likes to do work anyways, you know? All right. Now, I'd like to hear from Mrs. McClay's class, and they're from on YouTube, and they want to know if you have an estimate for how much trash is collected each Tuesday.
Each Tuesday, it depends because we have so many different people around the world that participate. But I would say on average, we clean up around at least 100 pounds of trash just from individuals that clean up in their communities.
Wow, and I bet it's all sorts of trash, big, small,
Yeah.
random pieces
And
of,
every month we tally how many bags are collected, and it's usually around 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of trash.
geez, Pete, that's a lot of trash. Okay. All right. Now, I have a question from YouTube coming from Sina, who wants to know how does Sharona spread the word about her work?
That's a great question. So when we first started, we used social media. We created a hashtag Tuesdays for Trash, and we encouraged our friends to join us and to use it. And we were lucky that it was a time when everyone was looking for an excuse to get outside and do something positive during COVID. So that gave us a lot of momentum. But beyond that, it's really just being passionate and encouraging your friends. So I tell people on my social media, we organize with different companies and groups and schools. And it's easy because it's something that anyone anywhere in the world can get involved with. So I think the smaller that you think, the easier it is to spread and make into a global action.
Right on. That's a good one. All right. Now, question from YouTube is coming from Emma, who wants to know where do you find the most trash?
The most trash usually is by the water because I'm not sure if you guys know that there are garbage patches in our oceans where there's huge
Mm.
swirling pools of garbage from all over the world. And so sometimes with the currents, it gets pushed out back into the shore. And usually along the rocks on beaches, we'll find most of that trash because it gets stuck and it stays there. Even when we clean it and we clean it and we clean it, we still find more because it's coming from the ocean currents.
Mm. That is terribly sad. Um, Now, we have a question from Jamie, who's on YouTube, who also wants to know how trash can be cleaned out of the ocean. It's a good follow-up.
Yeah. So first of all, we have to keep it from getting there in the first place, right? So a lot of that has to do with actually holding companies responsible for the trash they're creating. So, for example, Coca-Cola, that's a brand we find every single time we do a cleanup. And it's important that they have to have a responsibility to keep these plastics and things from ending up in our oceans and littered in our communities. Another thing is to have better waste and trash systems because sometimes when they have landfills, it's really close to the water and the ocean. And so when the wind blows, it blows it into the water system. And everything is connected to our oceans and our waters. Like even if you see litter on the street, when the rains come, it flows down into the drain, and the drains lead to our water systems. So it's really up to preventing the problem from happening in the first place, making sure people know not to litter, and for the companies to be responsible for cleaning up and making sure the trash doesn't happen in the first place.
Man, the oceans keep taking a beating on this stuff. What's one way, just as a follow-up to that, what's one way you would recommend that we reach out to these companies?
Yeah, so when we pick up trash, and when I first started, I would tag them on social media every time I found a piece of their plastic. And sometimes, especially for local businesses, when they saw it, they would feel so embarrassed and so guilty that they would say something and they would start working on different policies and measures to prevent it from happening. So I think if enough of us tag them and we call them out, then maybe they would start doing something. And another way is talking to representatives. We all have representatives in our state. And if you tell them that this is something you care about, then they can start working on bills and policies that will maybe tax those companies until they solve the problem.
All right, guys, you heard it. Get on social media, tag your trash. All right. Now on YouTube, we have Lisbeth. And the question is, if COVID didn't happen, I like this, I like where this is going. Do you think you would be involved in what you were doing now?
I've never been asked this question before, and
It's a good one.
it's making me think. I'm not sure that I would be doing Tuesdays for Trash in the way that it is, because when I was doing work before the pandemic, I was mostly working in government. So I was lobbying with the Senate on clean energy
Mm.
jobs and different aspects of the climate crisis. But during COVID is when I started thinking smaller and wanting to find something closer to home that I could tackle. So. I honestly, maybe I wouldn't be, but I definitely would be doing something environmental, just maybe not picking up trash specifically.
Yeah, thank God for COVID, right? No one has ever said that.
A lot of positive came out of it for sure.
Now we have time for one last question, and that is for you, Sharona. What final message do you have for the student explorers watching today?
I really hope that the next time you guys see a piece of trash, you think twice about it, not just about where it ends up, like is it going away or is it actually ending up in places we talked about, but also what you can do. And it takes really only 5 seconds to pick up a piece of trash and throw it away. So I really want you guys to take the time, not just to do that, but to talk about it, to story tell. If there's another problem in your community that you see and you're passionate about, don't be afraid to raise your voice and to use it because I promise people will listen. I promise people will support you. And I promise that you're not too small to make a difference. Every single thing that you do that is positive and that helps people, the community, and the environment is going to create change. So please believe in yourself like I did. And maybe you'll end up in a space like this because our world needs leaders and we need people that are going to make changes. And I really believe that every single one of you has the power to do that.
Thank you again, Sharona, for joining us today and inspiring us with your work in that final message. And I want to also say thank you to all the students for engaging with us and for your thoughtful questions. And thank you to the teachers for bringing your classes to our show. Keep the conversation going on social media using the hashtag #ExplorerClassroom. You can share about your experience or use it to connect with other educators. Don't forget to check out Sharona's book, Journey to Away, available now. The link is in the chat. Our next event is Thursday, May 8th. Join to learn how explorer Ru Somawira, a reptile scientist or herpetologist, studies snakes and other reptiles in the field. Register for this exciting event on our website. at natgeoed.org/explorerclassroom. Lastly, we would love to hear from you. Teachers, please take a moment to fill out our quick survey and let us know how you enjoyed today's show. The link is in the chat. And from all of us at National Geographic, have a wonderful day, stay curious, and keep exploring. We'll see you next time on Explorer Classroom. Bye, guys.